everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am in the middle of doing like some craziness, trying to get everything all functional and everything. All right, let's see. I think we have everything and we have everyone. All right. Got my chat room going and everything. Looks like I'm streaming just fine. All right. My preview's not doing so hot, but that's all right. So hi, I'm Ray, and we are stream blacksmithing. Today we are going to be decorating the bottle opener that we started on Monday. So we started by making a very functional bottle opener. It's the circular bottle opener. As you recall, we flattened out the end of this piece of round stock, and then we punched a hole using our hole punch, we punched a hole using our hole punch, and then we made a pry bar. So now we can open bottles with our bottle opener. It's very functional, but it's not very pretty. It's kind of ugly. So what we're going to do today is we are going to decorate it by putting I think we're going to do a horse head today on the end of this particular piece, or on the end of our bottle opener. So we're going to set everything up. And we're going to start by turning on the forge. I think, if I can see. So today we have a new setup. I have 2 cameras, and I should be able to change my scene. Hello, welcome in, Dark. Very happy to have you. So right now we are starting up the forge. Come on. There we go. And I'm gonna grab my headphones. What's up? Okay, cool. No forge, no work. Yep, no forge, no work. So we're going to put in our piece backwards. So we're going to heat up this end, and like I said, I think we're going to do a horse head today. Let me see if I can make the scene change and function real fast, just to be sure that everything is all working and everything. Yes, awesome. Now I can take you down to the anvil. Yes, okay, there it goes. So yeah, we're going to stick this end of the bottle. First off, what we're gonna do is we are going to square off the piece of round stock. Right now, we're at a round profile, and we want to make that square because it's a lot easier to work with, because the square profile, it'll give us a good solid start, so that we're not shifting the piece all the time. Once we get that square, we're going to make ourselves a nose. So we're going to kind of angle that out into the beginning of a taper, and we're going to act very similarly to if we were making a leaf. So we're going to punch in and isolate the nose area, and on 3 sides instead of just 2 this time. And then we're going to bend it out and make a horse head. And we'll decorate it a little bit with some nostrils and ears and a mouth and stuff. It seems to be having connection issues. Not sure if it's on my end or yours, to be honest. It might actually be my end because I have a bunch of devices on my Wi-Fi and they're not being nice together. It says I'm still streaming. Hopefully you guys can start seeing me. I know that my preview is being really dumb. Like, I'm having a lot of lag on my preview, but it seems to be streaming fine on my camera's view screen, because I can see my camera's view screen. And then I've got a laptop with my preview and all my controls and everything, but that's being laggy. It's not unwatchable. When you switch cameras, it stuttered a bit. I think it will stutter a bit because both of the cameras are kind of on the Wi-Fi, and we'll see how we like this. If this is too much, then I might just go back to moving the camera instead of using two, because I'm basically switching scenes between two cell phones. Hello, Nims. Welcome in. Thank you for coming and joining us. Our bottle opener on Monday. Let me know if it gets too bad with the two cameras, and I will go back down to one. Okay, we'll keep you posted. Awesome. Let's see. So, my Christmas was pretty good. I went out of town to see my parents, and I saw my parents, and I saw my partner's parents, and I saw all my siblings, and it was a really good time. I had a lot of fun. We got some pretty good presents. Let's see. I got a bunch of really big gift cards for restaurants, and we love eating out, so restaurants are always great. How about you guys? Did you guys have a good Christmas? Or are you celebrating like other holidays like Kwanzaa? I heard that yesterday was the first day of Kwanzaa. I know that Hanukkah we're in the middle of Hanukkah. If any of you guys celebrate that, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah. I know Yule is a couple weeks ago, so I think I think that's over with. We still have the New Year coming up. So we have that to look forward to. We kind of are in this like weird space between Christmas and New Year, and it's kind of like a dead space where it's just like, what do you do between that time? I kind of feel like everybody should be off work and resting and stuff. I think that would be a really great thing to do. Let's see, where I spent most of my time trying to get all of my stuff settled for the stream that I think I've lost a few things. Oh, okay. My tool bench, or my tool like tray that's usually over here is now over here because I got a laptop over there. So I'm a little discombobulated today. Let's see. All right, cool. I lost my stream yesterday. I forgot to switch the Wi-Fi on my phone, and it snuffed the Wi-Fi from the passenger's train. So I was just talking to myself, oh, that sucks. Oh. I've done that too, where like I'll forget to put the Wi-Fi on, and I'll be like on my own data for the my data for the phone that I stream with. And that's never pleasant either, because you get the bill at the end of the month and it's not a happy bill. So we've got Wi-Fi going now on all three of these devices. So like I said, if it's a little bit jittery, that's probably why. We will be purchasing a Wi-Fi extender to increase the strength in the next week. So it should. We bought a smaller one. It's like a plug-in one, but it's not great. I think we need a better one. My mistake. Have to keep thinking about it for next time. Oh yeah, like I've had a couple streams where I accidentally hit the mute and I did the entire stream and there was no sound at all, and that was obnoxious. The last time I did that, I luckily had all of my microphone has internal recording, so I had everything I said and I could sync it up in the edit, but during the stream nobody could hear anything, so like when I edit it down for YouTube I'll have sound, but the VOD has nothing, and it was kind of embarrassing because I was just talking to myself the whole time. I mean, it's a little bit ASMR, I guess, but it was like annoying. All right, I'm gonna switch to the other camera. Hopefully it's not too bad. Switch scenes. Let's see. Is it doing it? Maybe? Yeah, there we go. Cool. What do I got? First time chatter. Hello, Papa Dookie. If you have an old router or Wi-Fi, there is usually a way to connect them by Ethernet cable and use them for a second Wi-Fi point. Yeah, we've been trying that. But it hasn't quite worked as well as I want it to. It's not quite as strong. So, we're gonna use like a multi-room booster, I think is what we're gonna do. So we've got our piece and it's semi-hot. It's hot enough to play with for a little bit at least. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to square up the face. So we have a nice flat surface. So that we know exactly where everything is gonna be. And the way I'm holding this is a little bit weird. All right, there we go. So now we have a flat surface so that as we are hammering, it's not going to roll on us. So we want to make sure that that's nice and flat and ready to go. So I'm gonna flatten it out a little bit. I don't want crisp corners because I still like the rounded corners that we've got. And I'm gonna go on all four sides so that they're all nice and flat and workable. And we're gonna go back in the forge. I think my second camera is a little bit laggy, it seems. Ha! We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this. Learning a little bit as we go. So yeah, what I did was I took the round section of the end of the bottle opener and I squared it off so it's a lot easier to work with, so it's not shimmying on us as we are working and twisting. I hardwired Ethernet 75 foot out to my shop. Oh, I should do that. But I have this really long hardwire from my main cable box to the router that's in my computer room with all of my computer equipment. So until we get like a better system for that, I can't steal the cable. But like my cable box is like 3 rooms away from like an area that I can like get out to my shop. So I think that I would have to like figure out a way to like bring it over the roof or bury it or something for it to work right. Let's see. I don't have my apron on. I should grab that real fast. Give me just 1 second. Like I said, I was a little bit hectic. I'm about 15 minutes late starting the stream than I usually am because I was trying to get everything all worked together for the 2-camera setup. And it seems to be working all right, but like I said, I think it's a little bit on the laggy side on the train or the change off. So hopefully when I get the Wi-Fi extender, it'll be a little bit better. Let's see. So, let's see. Yeah, mine goes across 3 rooms. Or goes 3 rooms across the basement. I drilled through the windowsill, then down into a flex conduit and underground into my shop. Oh yes, that is probably. I mean, that's a really good way to go. But like, and we need to do that. Like, we need to drill through the floor in the room that the cable box is in, and then back up through the floor into the office. And then we'll have to bring another cable out here. Hopefully we can get some hardwire eventually. Because it's a lot easier streaming hardwire than it is streaming on Wi-Fi. Alright. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take that squared off profile on the bottle opener, and we're going to snub that nose down. Very similarly to how we snub it down for the leaf. It's like the beginning of a taper. So we are going to angle the piece of metal on the anvil face and hammer at an angle to get like a 45 degree. And I'm gonna switch cameras again. Switching scenes. Is it gonna switch? There it goes. Gotta get used to how much time goes by with the switches, or how long it takes to switch. It would also be very nice if I could get a little bit better at picking up my metal. So here I have my metal angled along the face of the anvil, and I am hammering with an angle, I'm hammering at an angle so that I'm kind of squishing in and tapering the nub, the end of this piece. And what we're currently making is the nose of the horse. So we want to keep that angle consistent on all 4 sides so that we have an even nose. One side is going to be a little bit wider than the other side because we're going to open that up a little bit to give our horse a mouth. So for the next heat, what we're going to do is we are going to isolate out the head from the neck. So we're going to hang it off of the edge of the anvil, and we're going to hammer it downwards so that we are pushing the metal over that corner and creating a right angled shelf. And we're going to do that on all 3 sides, or on 3 sides out of the 4, so that we are kind of creating that jaw and that muzzle. for the horse. Okay. Learned a new word today, hangling. Okay. So what does hangling mean then? Or is that a word that you learned from me? Hangling. Technical. Audio is okay, but the camera is lagging. I can hear you hitting the hammer, but I see an empty anvil. Oh, that's not good. Huh. I might be, let's see. That seems to be all right there. Can you guys see me waving? On that camera, I'm trying to figure out if it's the whole stream or if it's a single camera. Yes, we can see you, or we can see me waving. All right. Let's try the other camera, see if that might be the problem. Okay. Now, can you see me waving now? Okay, I definitely see that lagging a bit on my stream, like on my end. Tigrum language. No, we can't see the waving on front of the anvil. Okay, that's really, really laggy, it looks like. All right, if that's the case, then I'm thinking that maybe it's the Wi-Fi. And if you guys can't see it, like, immediately, yeah, because I'm seeing a lot of lagging on my monitor. So I might... Yes, but there's lag. Okay. I think I'm going to shut down my second camera, and we're just going to start switching the camera, or like the single camera. What did I just drop? All right, so let's see about that. And I will shut that one down. Okay. So we're gonna put this one away for a bit, and we'll move the main camera that's running the stream. Yeah, that's kind of what it's going. I was playing with this a little bit yesterday. There's like a 15 minutes where I streamed a little bit and I couldn't get it to even function. And then I ended up getting it to finally function, but this is the first time I've actually like streamed with it. So it's not doing quite what I wanted it to. So maybe I'll try it again once we've got the boosters, and then we'll try and if that functions, that's great, and if not, we'll figure something else out. Yeah. Okay. We've got plenty of heat now. And so I'm gonna move the camera from this angle, and I'm gonna move it, so watch out for the screen shake. It's gonna be a little bit there. I'll do my best to prevent as much of it as possible, as always. Okay. So we are going to continue snubbing in that nose. And I kind of got a nice extra angle on this side, and I'm pretty happy with that. That looks like a good top of a horse's head. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually start hanging, or I'm gonna make this the top of the head. So I'm gonna hang off this side here, and I'm gonna start that shelf So what we're doing is we're kind of isolating the head section and creating like a line for the horse's muzzle. And the first few blows of this are incredibly important. We got to make sure that we are not shimmying and shifting as we do this. Otherwise, we won't get a nice crisp line. So that is our goal, is to create a nice crisp line. So a little bit more screen shake as I move the camera so you guys can see me while I'm answering your questions and talking to you. All right, what do I got? Oh, Yankee, you are raiding me. Thank you so much for the raid. Whoops, let's see if I can figure this one out. Shout out. Thank you so much for the raid, Yankee, and welcome in all of you raiders and Yankee. Go ahead and, take a look at Yankee's stream if you haven't already. He's great. Right now, I think he's playing, or he has been playing Zomboid, the last I knew, and that's a really fun game. He also has his Yankee Axe channel. Check that one out. That one's great. He restores old tools and stuff. And I will shout that one too. Oh, okay. I have to wait a minute 12 before I can do a second shout out. What other designs do I have or have I added to a bottle opener? Okay, so this is the bottle opener that I started with. This is the first one that I did. I did this one several years ago. There is a heart on here. It's a little bit dark, but I'm not sure if you guys can see that real well. But yeah, there's like it's kind of a scrolled heart in there. I have also done leaves on the back of bottle openers. We've done long-horned cows like steers. Those are always really fun. A lot of people will do those. But I mean, there is as many decorations for bottle openers as there are crafters who make them. And that's what makes them really unique and a fun thing to do, a fun project. But yeah, I have a lot of fun with them. I try to do them, for demos a lot. Because like I said, you can do just about anything with them. They're really nice. All right. So we're going to continue on this horse head. Everything going? Yep. Every once in a while when I move the camera, I have a tendency to bump the mute. So if I do that, let me know. And I'll see what I can do. All right, so we are continuing to isolate the head of this horse by hanging it off of the anvil and shelving it down. This is very similar to what we do with a leaf. So we're kind of creating a little muzzle for the horse there. In order to continue it, and we're going to isolate it on 3 different sides, because right now we've got a really nice thick area right there, and we want to thin that out real nice, because we're creating so that we can create the jaw line of the horse. So we've started that line there, and we've started the line there. We're going to kind of squish in the head of the horse so that we can bring the jaw down a bit as we keep going here, and that's our next step. We're going to continue isolating it, and then we will hammer down on the jaw of the horse. So the animal head decorations are a really good basic fun thing to do with a lot of different things. There are a lot of people who will make horse heads for decorating their hooks and like handles and things like that. I have to say, it always sort of frightens me when I see your hand next to the red hot metal. That makes sense. I mean, yeah, it is red hot. The metal here, it's about, let's see, at that cherry red, it's about 900 degrees. At the like white hot, it gets closer to 25-ish 100 degrees. So like when I first bring it out, it's about 25, and then it starts to cool down. The metal itself doesn't radiate heat very much. It's relatively contained, and the air around it is really cold. So like I said, the heat kind of dissipates really quickly. So I don't actually feel the heat on my hands very much. I mean, like the actual forge itself, I can get to about here, and it's still like, you know, it's warm like if you were to put your hands in front of like, you know, your heat vent. So it's starting to get warm, but it's still comfy here. So like my hands are really cold, so this actually feels really good. But if I were to get much closer, then it would start to get really hot, and it would be uncomfortable at that point. Let's see. Now I'm going to do that other shout out that I promised. There we go. Because Yankee is amazing, and his working channel, like his crafting channel, is also amazing, and you guys should check it out and follow both his streaming or video game streaming channel and his crafting channel. Just don't turn into a barbecue. Oh, I won't do that. Occasionally, you know, something will fall out of the forge, or like I'll drop something and then it gets hot. And there have been a couple cases where I have set like leaves on fire that blow in through the garage door, but it's really easy to put them out. I also have two, what are they called? They are called fire extinguishers. I was just gonna show it to you and figure out what it was called because I forgot. But yeah, fire extinguishers. I have two of these in the shop, so if there's ever an actual fire, I'm pretty covered. I try to be incredibly safe around here. If it ever gets too hot over here, I've got welding gloves, so I'm pretty safe. Yeah, it's pretty safe. I mean, to a given degree of safe, I suppose, because I mean, yeah. Blacksmithing is somewhat inherently dangerous. Sorry, I realized that I have a whole light that I haven't turned on. So hopefully, you know, you guys can see me a little bit better. Hope your week is jolly. Yes, always be responsible. My week has been great. I went to see my parents and my siblings, and then my partner's family. So we had 2 family get-togethers. They were a lot of fun. We played a lot of games and got to play with the kids, and it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. We had tacos for one, and we had lasagna for another. So yummy, yummy. All right. We're going to continue on this horse head, isolating out the head. So we've got a nice horse head developing. So we're going to continue isolating that by shelving on 3 out of the 4 sides. We're creating a smaller neck for our horse. And all right. And as you can start seeing, we're bringing in that neck so that we've got our jowls coming out a little bit. We want to go a little bit further because we want to bring his jaw down so that you can see his, like, he needs a strong jaw. All right, so yeah, like I said, we're starting to pinch in that neck. So as we continue, we'll be able to start seeing his head shape. And I gotta remember where my tools went. This is the most dangerous part. Little pieces of scale, which is what you call hot rust, come off of the pieces and they land on the anvil and they'll start flying off if you've got too much there when you're hammering. All right, let's see. So I hope you guys like the new angle. So you guys can see the press now, and you've got the forge, and you've got my chair, and I think you guys can see the post vise now, except for it's being obstructed by the computer. So I might figure out a new place for the computer. Maybe if I switch the computer for the swage block, that might work. The swage block is over here. So you guys can't see the swage block, but if I put the computer there, then you won't see that. And that's probably better that you are able to see the swage block and the vise, and not the computer screen. And mainly we see me, yes. I'm glad that you guys can see me. I hope I've stopped lagging a bit because since I've gotten another device off of the Wi-Fi. So hopefully that's working pretty well. That's the goal anyway. Let's see. I kind of got to figure out if I actually have anything that I can use for eyes and stuff. I didn't really think about that when I started this project. Hopefully I can figure something out. Wait, I've got the ability to create a mouth and ears, but I think eyes might be a little bit harder than I originally. Oh wait, I think I have a pointed punch that we can use for eyeballs. See if I can't find it over here. I've got a nice pointy or a pointed punch, so we'll use that for eyeballs. Because every horse needs to be able to see. We'll use that guy. Alright, I've got a full set of tools now. Need some cold chisels. I do have some cold chisels. That's actually what we're going to be using for our face. So I've got this nice, just regular chisel, and then I think I've got this. I think they call this one a center punch. So it's kind of got a little point. So hopefully we can get some eyeballs in with this one. The best way to actually do eyes on an animal head is a hollow point punch, which you can also purchase you're like in the same area as your cold chisels. But yeah, they're hollow point, so you can, that way you can like kind of create an eyeball in the eye. Those are really great. My bottle opener is eyeballing me. Yes. We are making a horse head. So I mean, I guess it could be a seahorse. It kind of depends on like what type of horse you want it to see. The goal is to make it look like a horse, like that you would shoe. So because we're kind of like relating ourselves a little bit to a farrier, even though I don't shoe horses. You have to go to school for that. It's kind of like a vet, but a less fancy vet. So yeah, I just didn't have like most of what I've learned about blacksmithing. I've learned from YouTube and a couple like individual people. Like I took a couple of week classes in Memphis, Tennessee at the Metals Museum down there. They have a fully functional shop out there, and they'll teach you blacksmithing techniques. They'll teach you silversmithing, and they'll teach you and restoration, like metal restoration and the silversmithing are kind of the same, or like the same types of classes, I guess. And then they also do casting. I've gone out there and we did an iron pour, which is insane. Iron melts at 2,700 degrees. So I mean, if you can imagine that and being like really close to it. So you actually have to wear extra safety gear. Like right now I only have the apron and like the hearing protection and eyes. When you are casting iron, you kind of have to have a full apron, a welding jacket, and then spats, which are basically like a leather kind of apparatus that goes around your foot and your boots. Because if it spills, it will like instantaneously set your clothes on fire. So you got to make sure that you are properly protected for that. It's a lot of fun though, but it is so much work because they get these big old cupolas and they're like this big around and they're like yay tall. And I mean, it's like you're pouring a gallon of iron at a time. It's crazy. I went to casting class. They cast me a hammer. Boy, did my head hurt. Oh, they cast me as a hammer. Yeah, I'll bet your head hurt. That's a funny joke. All right, we're gonna go back to the anvil. I have never been cast as a hammer. I've been cast as a lot of other things, but never a hammer. I was one of those thespians in high school. I'm having a lot of trouble pulling this out of the fire. All right, there we go. So we are going to continue isolating the horse's head on 3 sides. So we've got a nice jawline for this horse where it comes up. So the next thing I think that we're gonna do is we're gonna pull down that jaw. So he's got a real nice strong jaw. And we'll probably do that by kind of making his head a little bit angled in, like so. Because the top of a horse's head is just a little bit skinnier than the base of his head. So we're kind of trying to turn this into a trapezoid, where the top is a little bit skinnier and the bottom is a little bit wider. This is one of many, many, many hundreds of different designs that you can do with with decorating of a bottle opener. Like I said, there's as many decorations and designs as there are bottle opener or like crafters to make bottle openers. Pedicure for the horse. It was a joke on your horse being able to see. Oh yes, see, a seahorse. I see now. Wow. I have a touchscreen as this computer, so I don't know why I went to touch it. I probably shouldn't because my hands are filthy. So, once we isolate out the head and create the generalized shape of the horse's head, we're going to come back in with the cold chisels. Like we were talking about before, we are going to open up the mouth using the flat chisel. And so then we can have like his mouth. So we will open that up on the end and we'll see if I can get it to split the material so that we'll have a top and a bottom. So he can have an open mouth. So he can have an open mouth. If I can't get it to split open for whatever reason, we will kind of draw that on with the chisel. And then with the center punch, we are going to create nostrils in the top end of the muzzle, and then we will make eyeballs. And then we're going to come back in and we're going to use the straight chisel again to chisel out some ears for our horsey, because the horsey needs to be able to hear as well as see. And like I said, these are all techniques that you can use for any sort of animal. You can do deer, you can do long-horned steers, you can do elephants, all kinds of stuff. Am I making these bottle openers as gifts or craft markets or as a commission? So the original goal of this stream was actually to be a source of material that I could edit for YouTube tutorial videos. So I started by creating or like coming up with a list of different simple projects that really showcase basic blacksmithing techniques. So things like drawing out material, to reduce the profile and lengthen the pieces of steel. Shelving, which is the technique that we're using to isolate out that head. Other techniques are using the different sorts of hammers to create different types of hammer marks and do like different sorts of jobs. Like the hammer, or like both of these faces on this hammer function differently than the cross peen hammer face. So I wanted to teach people about that. I wanted to teach people about just like, you know, how fun blacksmithing is. I mean, it's a very old, very, you know, tenuous kind of craft. There aren't very many blacksmiths anymore, like that are really functioning as blacksmiths. So I guess the goal is to really like to share my craft. So it's less about making money from the pieces themselves and more about sharing the craft and maybe, you know, giving you guys something to watch, something entertaining, a possibility to like get you interested and make you want to learn about it. Very respectable craft. I hope so. I mean, it was so necessary for so many years, and then we've got the Industrial Revolution kind of like really, you know, kind of made blacksmithing a little bit more obsolete. So it's just like there's a lot of really fun things to do. I mean, yes, it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of work, but I love the idea of keeping traditional crafts alive. At least for posterity. Welcome in. I see that we're gaining a few more people. Whoa. Let's see if that works. I think that functions. We are continuing to make a bottle opener. Or we're decorating a bottle opener that we've created. All right. So we're going to kind of pull down the jaw a little bit by using a pulling blow. And we're trying to move the material in, or like move the material down or like further towards the jaw without thinning it too much. If we do thin it too much, we can go back and snub it in by hitting the nose a little bit, and then we can always come back in and reshape that nose. But snubbing in on the end of the material, that is called upsetting it, and that pushes that material back in on itself and gathers more material at the back. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. We're going to bring material this way, and then we're going to bring material more this way. I hope that made sense. It's been a really long time since I've done an animal head, so I'm kind of fumbling my way through it. The vast majority of the pieces that I do for profit and for fun, it's more like table legs and furniture. I've made some chairs, some benches, tables, things like that. Desks are really, you know, they're really nice to make. Not everything is, oh yes, still very useful skills for fabrication. Not everything is produced in a factory. That is so true. There are so many things that, you know, they aren't produced in a factory because you want to keep that character. But a lot of the hand or the more handmade oriented pieces are a lot more expensive, and it's a lot easier to, you know, buy things that were made in a factory. So I think it's kind of, you know, what I do, it tends to be a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit harder to produce, but it's higher quality, much higher quality than a lot of stuff that you would buy at like Pottery Barn or Walmart. But a lot of people want me to charge the same amount as they can get things from Pottery Barn and Walmart, like all the time. Or like, I was always getting people asking me to make them swords, and they wanted to give me $150, but making a sword, even like the most basic, you just cut out the material and like grind it down, it's like weeks of work. I wouldn't ever charge any less than a couple $1,000s for something like that. People just want me to charge, or to only charge like $150 because they can get that from Bud K. Handcrafted things are always expensive. They definitely are. And I mean, handcrafted it's not for everyone. I mean, you can do a lot of things that are, you know, make it yourself, and like it'll be functional, and then you can make it for a lot cheaper for yourself. But like, if you want to hire someone to handcraft something for you, that's gonna cost you. You know, you really have to want that, you know. And I mean, like I said, handcrafted things I think are much prettier and much higher quality than stuff that you get from a store. People don't appreciate craftsmanship. A stamped out prop sword isn't anything like a hand forged one. I mean, that's so true. I mean, you get a Bud K sword, and if you try and actually use that as a real sword, that thing's gonna break. It's gonna break in a couple of hours and a couple of hits. But like a handmade sword that's been like properly, you know, hardened and tempered, that thing's gonna last you a pretty decently long time. So true. Most people can't wrap their minds around the time and effort it takes to make something homemade. I mean, definitely. I mean, the people who like crochet hats and stuff, I mean, it takes hours to do that. I have so much respect for people who do that. My mom and sister love crocheting. They love making stuffies. And so for Christmas, I got a crocheted stuffed flamingo and from my mom, and I got a crocheted stuffed rubber ducky. Well, I guess it's not rubber if it's crocheted, but a ducky, a crocheted ducky. It was cute. I love it. I have to keep it away from my animals though, because they want to like pull it all apart. If someone wants cheap, low-budget things, there are plenty of stores. If you want quality, it will cost you. It's that simple. 100% yes. 100% yes. If you want handcrafted, you're going to have to pay for it. But like I said, high quality, and that thing that you've had made, it will last for generations. I mean, some of the hammers and like tools that I have were made 100 years ago. They're like, you know, 4 times as old as I am. And like, they're still functioning. They still work just as well as they did when they were first made. At least crocheting doesn't singe you and you can watch Netflix at the same time. That is true. That is true. I don't know. I guess I just, you know, I like blacksmithing. It's my thing. When I first started in art school, I thought I was gonna do like clay or like drawing or something like that, and I don't know. I don't like it as much as blacksmithing. I guess I like that danger. A little bit of danger will keep you young, make you feel alive. All right, so we are going to bring this back a little bit. I am upsetting the nose of this horse. And what we're actually doing is we're kind of building up material. Oh, we'll have to reshape the bottle opener section there. Oh, I've got a rip. That's not good. This is why you decorate first before you make the functional section of the bottle opener. However, for this demonstration, I did it backwards because I just wanted to make sure that you guys got the technical version first. So we will fix that. We will fix that. And when it comes back, I will show you guys, or when it comes back out of the forge, I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about. So as the material cools down, the thinner it gets, the faster it cools. And when the thin material is too cold, if you start hammering on it or you hit on it like that I was doing when I was upsetting that end of the nose for the horse, it has a tendency to crack. So we have developed a tiny bit of a crack on the bottle opener section. Nothing that we can't fix with a little bit of weld, like, you know, a welder weld, but you know, it still happens, and you have to be really careful of it when you're working. I have a weird advertisement coming up. Okay. Both can ruin your wrists if you do it wrong. That is 100% true. Crochet is pretty cool. I'm gonna make some reusable shopping bags from plastic yarn. Yes. Reusable shopping bags are really cool. I've seen a few that people have made. They like rip up the paper bag, or like the plastic bags into strips and make that into yarn. That is so cool. Yep, so back to the forge. We want to go back to the forge when it starts to cool off, especially on those little sections, so that we, you know, don't create cold shunts and cracks. Cold shunts are partial cracks. That's what they're called. We have been streaming for about an hour, it looks like. We can stream for a little bit longer. Well, maybe about an hour longer. Like I said, I kind of had to start a little bit late, trying to get some technical difficulties ironed out, and I guess I didn't iron them well enough. Sounds like an insult, you cold shunt. Yes! I mean, maybe because it rhymes with a, you know, insult that might, you know, or might not start with a C, but, you know. We don't use that word. So. So we've generated a lot of material up closer to the nose of our horse. So I was hoping that we'd get the material back here a little bit further. but it doesn't seem to want to go that far, and I'm a little bit afraid of aggravating the crack that we've developed. So let me see if I can't show you where the crack is. All right. So if you can see, like right around here, let's see if I can show you. There's a little crack that's developing right in there. And that is because I was hammering into the material, but I allowed my piece to kind of slide back in the tongs, and the bottle opener section, it was hitting the center, like the connection point of the tongs there, and that's why it's all bent up like that. We can fix that by reheating it and hammering it there, but like I said, we've kind of developed some cold shunts in there, and we want to make sure that we fix those first. So I will probably wait to reform it until after I've put a little bit of a welding bead in there. That's probably not something that I'm going to be able to show on the stream because I don't have my welding set up in a place where I can use the camera at the moment. And you have to have special filters when you are using a welder so that the material doesn't so that the bright light doesn't mess with your camera. It looks like, let's see, you're making a lot of tech improvements, lots of little steps to video production. Oh, well, thank you. I hope you guys can actually like see. My preview says that I'm offline, but it seems like I am online. The phone that I am streaming on says that I'm still connected. So I'm gonna assume that I am, and that my monitor is wrong. So let's see. I have to go now, need to catch some Z's. Got a day shift tomorrow. All right, well, thank you for joining us, Dark. I hope you learned some things and, enjoyed yourself, had some fun. I very much appreciate your continued viewership. Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna refresh my website for Twitch. Goodbye for now, and don't get hurt. Oh, I'll do my best not to get hurt. I don't normally get hurt, so. But yeah, I'm going to refresh my Twitch. So I'm not gonna be able to see your comments for a couple minutes, or a couple seconds at least, while this tries to load. Awesome. All right, I got you again. I can see your comments. So, and it looks like I am streaming according to that. It's just not giving me a full preview. This always happens. My monitoring devices don't like to connect as well as my streaming devices, and then I get confused. All right. Oops. All right, so we are going to fix that nose a bit by giving ourselves a little bit of an angle on that horse. And then we're gonna bring the material out of it by using a pulling blow. All right. I have another idea. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done these animal heads. So I think what I'm going to do for our next heat, because I think I've just undone everything I did the last heat. So, you know, that's kind of how things work when you're live. I think I'm actually going to use a ball hammer. Whoops. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ball on the end of this ball peen hammer. And I think we are going to hammer on this side, and then that will pull more material down. And we'll get like a little ball, like a horse's jaw. So I'm sorry I'm a little bit rusty on this project. But we do what we can. Hang in there with me and we will figure this out together. All right. Let's see. Keeping hydrated. The heat from the forge tends to make everything warm, and I start sweating occasionally. Also, I gotta keep my voice lubricated. My preview is catching up. That's really interesting looking. So I've got the laptop over here, and it's kind of like showing me a little bit of a preview. So I've got all my like tools and things so that I can moderate the stream as we go. But the preview is really, really laggy for whatever reason. So I always harp on this. Every stream I always harp on keeping your anvil or keeping your tools close at hand, so that you always have the tool that you're looking for, the tool that you need within a hand, like within reach. That's what I'm trying to say. Always keep your tools within reach. I always like to set up my hammer on the anvil face so that I always have it nice and at hand. I never lose it. My tongs always sit on top of the anvil face perpendicular, and it's just the way I like it. But as long as your tools are, around and available within a hand's reach, so you're not losing them, so you're losing your heat, that's ideal. If any of you have any questions, I can answer those. If anybody has any comments, anybody wants to talk about their favorite Christmas present or, their New Year's resolution, we can talk about that. My New Year's resolution is to continue streaming all year. So we'll see how that bears, or how that plays out. I actually have a plan for what I want to do, like around this time next year, at the end of November and the beginning of December. I already have a project in mind for things that I want to do. So my New Year's resolution is to keep streaming for the whole year, and we'll see where that leads us. Alrighty, let's keep working on this horse head. It would be nice if I could pull this piece of material and it wouldn't fight me. All right, so we are going to continue kind of creating that jawline on this horse. So we're going to use the ball peen hammer and kind of give ourselves a little bit of a round jaw. That all horses have that round section. When you look at the picture of the horse, it kind of has that round jawline, and that's kind of what we're trying to create. And we've gotten pretty far with that, and I'm pretty happy. So it's kind of starting to look like a horse, in my opinion. I think we're doing an okay job there. I'm gonna straighten that out just a hair. On the next heat, looks like I'm gonna turn this into a trapezoidal shape. So we're going to thin out the top of the head just a little bit. Maybe actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the corners out of this so that we've got a nice 8-sided section with the 4 wider sides, but we're going to take off those sharp corners because I think it's going to make it a lot easier for us to make the ears and all of the different features in there. I think that's what we're going to do next. Let's see. Alrighty. So, as I said, it's been a little bit since I've done some animal heads, so I'm a little bit rusty, and we're kind of teaching ourselves how to do this together. But like I said, I think what we're going to do is we are going to take down the corners. We've got some really sharp right angles on the corners of the horse head, and we kind of want to soften those up a little bit so that we've got an area to create the eyes and cut those into the horse's head, and then we'll cut the mouth open and the ears. So we're getting really close to being done with the project. How many different hammers do you commonly use on projects? All right, so how many different hammers do I use? I mean, I have so many hammers, and they all serve different purposes. So it depends on what jobs I need done. So my favorite hammers, I usually have about 3 favorite hammers that I can use on any given project. And I'll show you a few of them. So this is my favorite, or my 3-pound, it's my 2-pound forging hammer. It's got 2 flat surfaces. One is more rounded and the other is more flat. This is a basic forging hammer. So most of my basic shaping work is done with this. And then for more detailed work, I like to use it kind of depends on what types of detail work I'm doing. If I'm trying to do a rounding and kind of a dip, concave shape, I'll use the ball peen hammer. It's a good hammer for texturing. You can make more bulbous shapes out of it and draw material in a more round shape. This one is kind of it draws material out in all of the directions, but this one's more round, and this one is more flattened like a pancake or a meat tenderizer. So they're different hammer strokes, and they leave a different hammer mark. So it's kind of like what I'm looking for. And then this is a cross peen hammer. This one has that long skinny face onto it. It's amazing for creating length in the single parallel direction. So you don't get a lot of movement in the perpendicular, but you do in the parallel direction. So if I am trying to like really shape something, I'll switch to the cross peen hammer. These are the three hammers I tend to use the most. Another use for this ball peen hammer that I have is anytime I'm using a chisel of any type or like a cold tool, I will use this hammer. The reason I do is because when I'm using a forging hammer, I want to make sure that the face of the hammer is like pristine and almost mirrored out, because any mars or like dings in the hammer will get transferred every hammer blow into the material. So you want to keep the forging hammer's head or like their faces really, really nice. So I have a designated hammer that I can ding this up, I can chip it. It doesn't really matter because I use this for like nails and cold chisels and stuff like that. Does that answer your question? I hope. I will probably be using this later, so I will keep this over here for now. And we'll put the cross peen away because we're not using that one right this second. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of my favorite hammers. And I do have a lot more hammers that I can use for different projects. Like this guy is a rawhide hammer. So the head is made out of rawhide, so it's like the same stuff that you might, give your dog as a chew toy. So this is actually just for kind of like flattening or like straightening out something that's like curved that you don't want to, thin out. You can use a rawhide hammer on that, and that will so if you have like a bend or a curve, you can use the rawhide mallet and it'll straighten it right out for you. Let's see. This guy's a really old hammer. I don't really use him anymore, but this is actually a punch. So it's a punch on a handle. So when I'm punching holes, I tend to use a punch, but if you want to make bigger ones, you can it's kind of a punch on a hammer handle. So you put this piece or this side on the piece of material that you're trying to cut the hole in, and then you hammer on this side, and you can tell that it's been used because we've got that mushroom head on there. So that's another interesting hammer that occasionally we'll use. I also I have a lot of jewelry hammers, and I'll use those for silversmithing projects and things like that. I don't do those nearly as much as I used to. I won't use those for blacksmithing, but occasionally if I'm if I decide that for whatever reason I want to make decorative armor, sometimes I'll use those hot. I have jeweler's hammers, brass hammers, fun stuff. That one has really taken a beating. It has taken a beating. That one I got that one at an antique mall, and it was already mushroomed when I got it. So, I've made it worse, but I mean, that's kind of what it's for. So there are ways that you can take the handle out, and you can heat it up so that it's at a forge welding temperature, which is just before you're gonna melt the material, and you can actually hammer that back out and fix it. So eventually when it gets to a point, I will do that. But that means I have to pull out the coal forge because I cannot get that heat on this one. I have to use the coal forge for that. I do love my jeweler's hammers. My favorite hammer was the little brass hammer when I was doing ring sizings. That thing was beautiful. I loved it. It was the most pristine hammer in that shop, and I stole it from the head jeweler, and I kept it in my bench, and nobody stole it from me until I left that job. All right. It would be nice if I did not turn that while I put it in there. All right. Dropped. Or I could just keep dropping it. I've dropped this guy twice since I, took him out of the forge. All right, so we are taking the sharp corners off of this horse head. It's kind of not a really forgy or like a hard forge process. It's kind of very a light blow because we're really just trying to dull out those corners so they're not nearly as sharp as they were before. So as you can kind of see, we're developing like a little tiny edge, or a little tiny face there. And that is the goal for that, because we're kind of trying to round that out so that if we put this in our pocket or on our keychain, we don't like injure ourselves if we sit on it. And we're kind of trying to like true it up just a little bit as we go. I think I'm gonna do one more heat where I'm just truing or like dulling down these sharp edges, and then we will put the face in using the chisels, and then we will bring down the head so that, because like right now it's kind of really straight, we'll bring that down so it's a little bit more, lifelike. I'm gonna sweep out this shop. Got some leaves down at the bottom of the forge. That's dangerous. I will have that done before the next stream, so you guys don't have to worry about it. All right. For a second, I thought you were admitting to a crime. Yeah, there's just some leaves in front of the forge. I kind of dropped the piece, and I kind of singed the edges. It's really easy for like really dried leaves just to stomp them out with my boot. I've got a really nice thick sole on my steel toe boots. That's why I use those in here, because like it's got a really thick sole, so I can make sure that the tiny little like fires that occasionally get started, I can just like put them out immediately. Oh, about stealing the hammer. No, I took it from one bench and I deposited it at another bench, or at my bench. So there was a time where my shop, I was the only like real jeweler in my shop. It was me, the apprentice, and the manager of the shop, and the manager didn't do a lot of like actual jewelry work. So I went around to all of the different benches and I found the best tools and the best chair, and I just so loaded up my bench with the equipment. And so like when I left, everybody raided my bench to get all of the stuff back. Stealing the hammer. Yeah, no. I've never stolen a hammer. I've had hammers given to me, but I've never stolen any. I do have a goal of making my own hammer, which is kind of why I have this piece of material here. This is A2. It is an air-cooled tool steel. So what I want to do is I want to cut off a couple chunks off of this guy and use the press over here to make a hammer out of them. But I have to figure out what I want to do, because right now the jaws of the press are a little bit too close to use such a large piece of steel in. So I'm debating if I can get away with, I have like the bit or the face of my press is movable, so I've got these like really thick, nice pins that it kind of sits on. So I'm wondering if I move it down to the next set of holes, if that will open it enough for making a hammer, or if it'll open it too much. So I guess it's an experiment I'll have to do at some point. So yeah. The good thing about, being a blacksmith is you can make the tools. Any tool that you need, you have the ability to create it yourself. So like, if you don't have any tongs when you're first starting, you can make a set of tongs. Like I made this set of tongs, and I mean, all of my tongs, I've probably only bought 3 sets, and the rest I've made over the years. I have a tendency, anytime I start a new type of project, I will make a brand new set of tongs for them. It makes it a lot easier to work and to use. All right. We're almost done with our horse head. Like I said, I'm going to do one more heat of flattening out the corners a little bit, creating a surface that we can use to put the eyes and the nostrils in. And then after that, all right. So we're kind of rounding out the corners, and then for our next heat, we'll start giving ourselves, or giving our horse features. So for our next heat, we're going to take our chisel, our flat chisel, and we are going to hammer in like so, and open up the mouth so that we can have a whinnying horse. Open properly, mouth up. It says, I saw on Facebook you did some twisted bars. Do you still have the tooling for that? I do still have the tooling for that. So basically, let's see. Here's a nice twisted bar. All right, so this is just a basic twisted bar. So this is one that I did several years ago. I started a project and I did not like the way, or like I didn't like the way this turned out. It was kind of an experiment for like to see what my client was looking for. So basically how you do this is you take one end of the bar and you put it in the vise, like so. So it sits in the vise, and then you take, where do I have them? I don't do it a lot, so I don't really have, I think they're buried in piles of tools somewhere. Let's see, do I have, okay, so over here I've got, all right, so you've got I got a crescent wrench like this, right? So instead of a crescent wrench, what a lot of people will do is they'll use a pipe wrench. Like some people call them monkey wrenches. So it's like the red ones that the open and closing bit is perpendicular. So they open and close this way. And so what they'll do is they'll weld a second bar onto the static tongue on that, and then you adjust using the crescent part. You adjust it so that it fits perfectly on the bar, and you can use the leverage from your handlebars to twist that, and that is how you get a twisted bar. And we will 100% be doing some twists at the beginning of the year. I don't think I'm ready to do twists this month, but we will 100% be doing some twists in January. I've got that, that's in the plans. I would like to do a basic twist like this. I would like to do a back and forth twist. So it's like, you twist the bar this way and then you twist the bar the absolute opposite way, and it kind of gives you like a ripple effect. I would like to also do a couple other types of twists. I think I might try a pineapple twist, and if you search that up on Google, it's pretty neat. So basically you you put grooves into your bar, and then you twist those grooves, and it makes a pineapple like look to it. So we'll do some of those. Yeah, so if you find any other twists that you're interested in, send me a DM and we'll talk about. I'll add that to my list of different twists that I'll show you guys how to do. So yeah, I do love doing twists. One of my favorite things to do is actually using angle iron and doing twists. So here is a rejected piece of angle iron twist that I did. So this one it turned out really crappy, but so you've got your angle iron, and that's what this is called. So it's got that L shape to it. And so basically what I do is I squish in the L shape so that it's kind of like folded over, and then I twist the fold, and then you get that nice line in that twist. It's really pretty, and it's very, very solid. So that's a twist that I really like doing too. So we might do some of those maybe later on. That's kind of a twist that I don't do as often because it takes a lot of effort to do, because it's 2 twists in one. All right, so we're gonna start by opening up our horse's mouth. You know what? Let's do it this way. It's gonna be a little bit safer this way. And I 100% wanna make sure that I am always safe. As safe as possible. All right, so I'm gonna take my rig and I'm gonna move it over. Whoops. I'm gonna try not to like kill my rig. All right, we're gonna move it over. Can you guys see the post vise? All right, you guys should be able to see the post vise from there. We're gonna take my water, put that over here. That way it's not in the way. And we're gonna move some of these over here so that we don't drop them. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our horse's head in the vise. That way it will hold the piece for us, and we don't have to need, or we won't need 3 hands for it. So bring this over like so. Tighten that up. Then we'll grab our chisel. Whoops, I didn't tighten it enough. All right, it's getting a little bit cold, so I'm gonna put it back in the forge real fast, but you can kind of see on the end there that we've kind of made that line. We're gonna continue making that line. It's gonna open up that mouth a little bit further. There you go, you can see it now. So yeah, we're gonna open that mouth a little bit further, and then we'll add some eyeballs. I will have to make sure that I work on, let's see, how did I get this off? Tightening that vise a little bit better. But like I said, I'm kind of learning what I'm doing, just like you guys, for this particular project. Kind of something that I decided I would do at the last minute. I was going to do a corkscrew today as a new project. I was going to do it on Friday, or like I was going to start it today and then finish it on Monday, but I moved that back. So Monday and Wednesday we're going to do that corkscrew. So because my partner reminded me that I promised you guys I would decorate the bottle opener, and so that's what we're doing. I've not seen twisted angle iron before. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know where I decided that I liked the look of that. It was just kind of like a fleeting idea. I think part of it was that I had just like a bunch of angle iron laying around from a different project, and I was like, what can I do with this? And I needed some chairs. And so I decided that I was going to see about twisting the angle iron and making like kitchen chairs out of it. So I made 2 kitchen chairs, and I made 2 benches as a set to go for a long rectangular table. My original goal was actually to make the table too, but I never got around to it because I got sick before I was able to do it. So unfortunately, life happens and your plans don't always pan out. But eventually, if I'm able to build up my stamina and strength up back closer to where it was back then, we'll be able to do that table. And we'll see, you know, if I can make that happen. That is the goal, to make, to get the stamina back. All right. So let's see if we can tighten our piece on better this time, so we can finish out that mouth in one more go. Squeeze, squeeze real tight. Real tight. And I'm gonna show you the this view because I'm already overextending myself a little bit. This guy, we're starting to get a little bit on that hot side. Now this is something that you can also do with an angle grinder. You can kind of, but yeah, we've opened that mouth up a little bit further. I'm thinking that we're gonna kind of use the chisel on the sides a little bit and draw in that mouth because I think it's gonna take a little bit too long. We're starting to run low on time for the stream, so I'm gonna draw in the mouth a little bit and then we'll add in the eyes and the nostrils. Every time I drop a piece, I have to look to make sure that I haven't burned anything, set anything on fire. But like I said, I have 2 fire extinguishers, so like if I do, it's not a big or as big a deal. I do have to be careful, you know, not to make big fires or like leave my forge unattended. But overall, it's not as easy to make a fire as you might expect, like a big one. Controlled fire is what we want. So I'm gonna reset my area a little bit. I think we're going to use the anvil to kind of draw in the rest of that mouth. So I'll put this over here for the moment. Put that there. Right. Let's see. What other projects are we thinking about doing? One of the projects that I'm really looking forward to doing is a blacksmithed rose. So that one's got a little bit of extra prep time. So basically what we're doing is we're taking a piece of bar stock, and we are on the end of it, we're kind of creating our own rivet, and then we're making a stem, like the stem of a rose, so we can put like thorns in it, or we can kind of like gnarl it up a little bit. We'll want to taper that down, and then we take flat sheet and we cut out rose petals, like a disc of rose petals. So 4 rose petals on a disc. So it kind of reminds me like the pattern, if you think of a 4-leaf clover, like you'd see for St. Patty's Day. That's kind of the shape of the pattern of the rose that we're doing. And then we heat up all of the petals and we curl them around each other. We rivet them to the stem, and we've got ourselves a blacksmith rose. So that's a project that I'm looking forward to doing. Like I said, Monday and Wednesday we're going to do a corkscrew. It's another project. We'll probably go back to J hooks, and we'll do S hooks as well, with different decorations on those. I am looking to do some silverware, so a fork, a spoon, and a knife. So those are 3 different projects that are going to be all similar in design, but they are all like different. They have like differences that you've got to do. So like you've got to learn how to cut the material for the tines of a fork. You got to bowl out the spoon, and you've got to kind of like make the knife blade. So we'll do a set of silverware. Eventually we might do some bowl bowl forming. So we might make a frying pan. Those are always fun to do. I've done those before. You can actually eat off of them just like a cast iron pan. So you'll need to season it, and then you can fry food on it. It's really, really nice. They work beautifully. I like to use 1/8 stock, like sheet stock, an 1/8 inch thick, and it works just like a griddle. It's beautiful. You do have to keep it seasoned, and you have to be careful that you don't get any rust on it. But you can, if you do get rust on it, you can clean that right off. So they're amazing. I love them. We cook with them. The food's really good. Let's see. But yeah, those are some projects that I'm thinking about doing over the next year. So, I mean, if you guys see anything on Google or anything that you're interested in, let me know. I'm always taking more projects. Add them to the list and we'll get to them. All right. We'll do a couple more heats for the stream, and then we'll probably be done for the day. We may not finish making the eyes and the nose as deep as we want them, but we'll get a good start. All right, so we're gonna put this on the anvil like so. Push it over just a little bit so that we make sure that we've got that on there real nice and flat so that it doesn't roll on us. Or it just rolls on us anyway. You know it? Okay. All right. We're going to try that again in another heat. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I'm kind of rusty at this. We'll learn together. Let's see about using the vise again. I should have used the vise in the beginning and I didn't for that. So we will do better next time. Better next time. But that's what we do with live demos. We've got to fix our mistakes. We've got to make it look like, we know what we're doing and stuff. So, yeah. Runaway horse. Yes, it did. It ran away on me. It's very round, and that's the reason why in the very beginning of making this horse, we wanted to square it off. It makes it a lot easier to, keep it working or workable so that it doesn't like spin on us. What was that? All right. Okay. Let's see if I can do this right. Let's see if we can do this right this time. Oh, come on. There we go. And I think you guys can see my vise now. There we go. we are opening up that mouth a little bit better, a little bit more. It's really wanting to run away. Okay, so we've actually got a pretty decent mouth on there now. It's open and kind of screaming a little bit, or whinnying. That's the word I want to use, whinnying. So here's that view of that. So it's open pretty nice. So we're gonna do the eyes and hopefully the nostrils at the same time on our next heat. We're going to keep using the vise because that seems to be the best way to go. All right. Let's see if I can do this without shutting off my phone at the same time. Okay. Runs pretty quick for a horse with no legs, right? So, as I hit on top of the vise, it kind of vibrates. This vise doesn't have a very solid grip. So it as it vibrates when I'm using the hammer or when I'm hitting on it, it tends to loosen up a bit. So I have to periodically tighten it up as I'm working, and it's something that I forgot about this vise. I really need to pay attention. I apologize for that. I will remember that for next time. All right. What's a nice way to put that in there? Okay, I think I have an idea for how we're going to do this. We're probably going to put the piece in on a horizontal angle, and we'll probably make sure that it is more on the left side than the right side because I'm right-handed, and if it shoots off that direction, it'll have to go through more of the vise to do so, and it will be a lot safer for the equipment and for me. Always plan your heats before you take the material out. Oh, and I gotta make sure that I've got the right chisel for the job. So we are going to use the center punch. So we've got like a little point on that punch there. And that is what we're going to use for our eyeballs. We're going to punch in just like that. So I'll put that there, hammers there, we're good to go. We've got everything that we need except for the phone on the other view. So you guys can see what I'm doing. And we're trying to pay attention. Oh, come on. Do the thing I'm trying to do. Is it this way? Maybe? Open sesame. Thank you. I am struggling with this guy today. All right, we're back to the vise. Open. So we're going to put it in. Like so. Angled just like so. There we go. Now I'm going to start with the eyeball, and we're going to go down and in. Alright, we've got one eye, and it looks like it's going to take us a little bit more effort, a couple more heats than I was prepared for at first. But as you can see, we've got one eye going there. One eye. So it can see. It is a pirate horse right now. We'll need to, you know, give it an eye patch. All right. I think I'm going to leave the phone there for a bit so that I don't have to mess around with that camera. Yes, a pirate. It's got one eye and a mouth, so it can talk. It can go R. So we are going to put in the other eyeball and the nostrils. Hopefully we can get all three in one go. If I can, you know, get the piece in the vise before it cools down. But if not, it might take me a couple more heats. But we're getting close. We are getting close. So this is my post vise. It is a 4-inch post vise. That means that it is 4 inches wide here. It opens to about a square, so 4 inches wide-ish. And before the screw comes out of the post vise, the reason they call it a post vise is because it goes down into the floor on a post. So anytime I use the hammer on this thing, instead of putting the stress on the plate and the bench that it is attached to, it brings all of that force down into the ground instead. So it is a wonderful tool for a blacksmith. This is why I'm able to use this guy to put the, you know, eyes and nostrils on our horse with it. So yes. Let's see if I can do this. Can you do this? I can. Ouch. Of course. All right, it's going to take me an extra heat. I'm so sorry. I've just kind of screwed myself up. All right, let's see if I can do this. I want to do it this way. Nope, we're just going back in the forge. I'm starting to get tired. This is the kind of thing that happens when I start to get tired. We'll get it. We'll get it. All right. Let's see, what's it say? Seems like a constant challenge to clamp the vise and have the heat sink out. Yes, that is the biggest challenge with the post vise. It's a big, like, hunk of steel. So, like, both sides of this vise, will actually suck the heat right out of the piece. So if it takes too long for me to clamp it in here, it actually ends up starting to cool the piece down really, really fast. We don't want that to happen, but we really kind of have no choice. I don't really have another way to do this. So yeah. I could never have the, let's see. I can never have the dexterity to handle all those moving parts. I'm sure you could. It's all a matter of getting used to it. It's like what you're used to, you know? All right, so I got a much better hold on with the tongs. So hopefully we can hold. All right, cool. We've got that in there now. As hard as we've got. Now we're gonna start working on this side. I'm gonna come around here. And we start from the 90-degree. And the reason we start from the 90 degrees so that we can kind of get ourselves a little bit of a foothold in that. We can still go a little bit further on this. There we go. We've got a nice good eye going. I think I'm starting to... I accidentally brushed my sweatshirt onto the piece, so... That's why I always go for solid. Oh, he's got some weird looking eyes. So what I've got going on is there's an eye right there, but on the other side there's also an eye, and they aren't even. So we've kind of screwed this up a little bit. So I'm going to put in little nostrils, and then I think we're going to be done. So what happened here is as the horse's head shifted downward in the vise, it kind of moved my punch around, so I've got a lot of slop. This is what I was talking about when we were using the punch to punch through the bottle opener section. We got to make sure that we don't have any slop, and I wasn't as careful as I need to be, so that is something that I need to work on for the next project, making sure that my punches don't move as I'm working. Alrighty. So I'll make a couple good nostrils on the next one, or on the next heat, and then after that I will probably end the stream. So if there's anybody that's online right now that's, you know, we're gonna be able to raid, let me know. Maybe Johnson's on. I haven't looked yet to see who's around. But yeah, if you guys have anybody you want to raid, let me know. Put it in the comments, and I will send you their way. I want to keep the fun going for you guys. Let's see if I can find anybody to raid. Looks like my computer is very laggy. It is not wanting to let me look to see who's rateable right now. Oh, let's see. I guess it just popped up. Let's see. Who do we got? There is several people in the... But yeah. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. And we will raid. Shortly. And we're losing a lot of heat to freezing. The gas bottle is freezing on us. Ooh, my hands are shaking too much. Alrighty. And we are making nostrils for our horsey. There we go. They're okay. They're not amazingly straight. We have a googly-eyed horse. Alright, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Alrighty, so we've got a really googly-eyed faced horse, but it's got two nostrils, it's got a mouth, and it's got some eyes. So one more heat and we're gonna bring you back over to the anvil and we're gonna turn his head down so that he looks more like a horse. And then after that, we will end the stream. I'm gonna take you back over to the anvil because that's how we're gonna do that. Whoops. Once upon a time, I didn't... Okay. I think I got you. On the anvil. There we go. That's better. I think you guys can see now. Alright, we're gonna read. ASMR. Glazed and confused. Ooh, ceramics. Do you guys want to see ceramics? Ceramics looks like fun. So if you were extra ambitious, could you form a mane on the horse's neck? Yes, you definitely could. So what you would want to do for that is you would want to, when you are initially creating the neck, you would probably hammer a point at the top of the horse's head. So like you'd kind of turn it and you'd pull very similarly to what we were doing for making the leaves, like the leaves wider. So it would like when we were going for, you know, creating the bulbous heart shape on that leaf, we would kind of create that area. And then you could come back in with a flat chisel and draw in some hairs. So that way it would have hairs in that mane. You could also, if you were ambitious, you could cut in some ears. We thought about doing that, but like I said, we are starting to run out of gas pressure. So that's kind of why we're not doing that one. But if you're interested in more, we can do like a whole, animal head stream sometime in the future if you want more animal heads. So and we'll do that on a piece that doesn't have a bottle opener on the back end of it. All right, so we are bending the horse's head back. Bending him down so he's kind of got the, a little more realistic head. All right. One more heat, I guess, because it's not going quite as well as I want it to. If I shake my gas tank a little bit, it tends to allow me a couple more minutes of heat. But yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do with the animals to give you more details and more that you can decorate with. Yeah, like I said, if you want to do more animal heads, we can do that. I'm more than happy showing you how that works. I'll add it to the projects list. What does heat pressure mean? Okay, so I have a bottle of propane that is powering my forge, and it is a 20-ton pig that is, it's like for a barbecue forge, or I mean a barbecue grill, yes. So it has, the gas is in that tank under pressure. And I have a pressure regulator attached to the tank that regulates how much gas is coming out at any given time. And because I take the gas out at a very high pressure, the gas gets really, really cold and it starts to ice over. And when the container starts to empty out, and so when there is less gas, or less, yeah, because when there's less gas and more liquid and more ice inside the tank, what happens is we lose pressure, and it starts to, and that's not working out for me very well because of the position. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I lose pressure. So we've got kind of like a seahorse going on there. If this neck was thinner, I could bring it even further out in subsequent heats. Right now, it's about as far as I can go on the amount of of gas I've got. But yeah, we're wanting to push the head down a bit further. We've kind of got a seahorse going on right now. Did I explain that well enough? Because I'm getting tired, so my brain isn't quite as fast. But yeah, so the pressure is dropping in the canister, and so I'm not getting as much heat in the forge. Cool. I'm glad I was able to answer. All right. Let's see. One more heat, we'll see if we can't get that horse to look a little bit more natural, bend that horse's head down. It's kind of like looking up really high. Is there a way I can do this easier? Maybe at the vise? We'll try that. We're gonna try it at the vise one more time. One more time at the vise. Once more. Into the breech. Okay. Or I could just drop it because, you know, that's all good too. All right. There we go. It's a little bit better. All right. There we are. That's about where we want him. And if we wanted ears, we could put those in there too. But we've kind of got a seahorse going on, it looks like. I'm gonna cool him down. And then we'll... All right. He's a little bit hotter than... All right. So yeah, we've got ourselves a nice horse, and if we wanted to add ears, we could add them here and here with a straight chisel. So there is our horse bottle opener. So yay! Thank you guys all for watching. It's been a blast. So we will be back on Monday and ready and again for, you know, streaming blacksmithing. So thank you guys all for coming. Have a wonderful weekend and a happy week between the holidays. I'll see you all later. I think we are going to raid a ceramicist if they're still on. Let's see. Glazed and confused. Looks like we're doing pottery. Alrighty. And thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Later, guys.